Welcome back, guys, and happy Halloween. Today I want to talk about a movie that's really special to me and I think works perfectly for today because this is a movie that's about Halloween and Christmas, which is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this is the VHS tape, of course, and I've got multiple versions of this movie. I've got it on Blu-ray, even PSP, movie on PSP, and even the soundtrack, and then I've got tons of memorabilia, like the figures up there that you see that I just put up today, that I found in my closet, that I bought like 10 years ago. And Nightmare Before Christmas is one of those movies where it's truly a timeless movie, and all of these characters, the stories, the themes, everything about it is so universal and so classic and timeless, and I love the fact about this movie. And the reason this movie is so important to me is because whenever I first saw this, I felt like I was honestly scared of it as a kid. Like, I didn't watch it, and whenever I was in school and they showed it, I was scared to see it, but I watched it and thought, oh, there's nothing bad about it. Good, I'm not scared anymore. Kind of like how I was scared with Chucky, where I was scared of Chucky a lot as a kid and was definitely afraid of him, but then whenever I saw what he looked like, I was like, oh, this isn't that scary, and I watched the movies and was desensitized to it. So I felt like that with this movie, even though it's not the same type of horror movie. But this Disney movie, which Disney is something that I love. Disney is one of my favorite types of films. I grew up with Disney. I still love it. I'll see every new Disney movie that comes out in theaters. I've seen almost every single one of them. And I'm going to review them all on this channel. I've reviewed like 5 or 6 of the original films, animated films, and we'll review the rest of them. But this one I was gonna review later. But since it was Halloween, I was like, I might as well just talk about this one because this one is so important to me. And whenever I was a kid, after I finally saw this, I wasn't scared anymore. The thing that stuck out to me the most is the designs of these characters. That every character in this movie is so distinct and so real. I mean, not real, but so incredibly different from each other. Very distinct. And I just love the designs of all these characters. And before I even watched the movie again, like for a couple of years, I just loved the designs of these characters and started drawing them. And I never liked to draw anything, and I started drawing these characters and thought they were so cool and so cool how they looked. And watching the movie again, like whenever I was younger, I fell in love with this movie. I just thought it was incredible. I thought everything about it is timeless and unique and everything, and it feels so much like one of those claymation stop motion movies like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where like it's classic and timeless, but this one has a bit of an edge to it, where it's about this character Jack Skellington, who is the king of Halloween Town, and then he realizes that there are other holiday worlds through these doors, and he goes to Christmas Town, but doesn't understand the concept of it. He thinks that they like to be scared as well, so it backfires on him. But I love the fact that it makes this character so fun and unique, and he has great flaws to him, Jack Skellington, and I thought he's such a great and likable character with a great design. This is one of the coolest designs ever. Just the pumpkin head, the head that he has, and the pumpkin head design. I think he's incredible. And Chris Sarandon plays him spectacularly well, and Henry Selick does the singing voice and is incredible as well. But this is just one of my favorite characters ever in any movie. We've also got Sally, who is the literal rag doll, who is so cool by design too, who can fall apart and stitch herself back together. It's so cool. And every one of these characters, I'm not going to describe all of them, but they all have such unique designs, so fun looking and so unique. They all are distinct and different from each other, and even if they're just on screen for a couple seconds, you know what they look like because they're just so distinct in terms of how they look. And this is a Tim Burton story, but Henry Selick directed this movie. And he will later go on to direct James and the Giant Peach, and I believe Coraline too, which I love James and the Giant Peach as well, and Coraline I liked a lot. But this is still the #1 for me. I still love this movie and think it's really fantastic. And I think that just how these characters are in this movie are great. Like, just having Jack go into this world and not understand what it is, and he has a longing for something new, and he goes into another world and thinks it's the same as his world, but it's not, and it backfires, and he has to have Santa Claus save the day. So I love the story, and I love the designs, and the stop motion effects are incredible. And it took 3 years to make this movie, but like making a second of this movie is like a day's worth of work. Like it took that much effort and appreciation for this and for the genre for stop motion. Like that's incredible. To do this for an hour and 16-minute movie, which I just looked at the time. It's an hour and 16 minutes long, which it just is incredible in how much effort and time and creativity they did with this movie and everything about it. And I also haven't even talked about the musical score and all the songs. Disney is one of those things with musicals where I'll love mostly any Disney musical. And I'm not super into musicals as a whole, even though there are some that I do enjoy, like La La Land or The Greatest Showman or Chicago. But this movie in particular, the songs I think are incredible, and they describe what the characters are feeling and how it moves the story along. And since this movie is very simple for this type of movie, like it feels like something like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where like it's a stop motion movie like this, even though it's shorter than this, but it feels like the same kind of thing where it's very simple, it's very simplistic, but that makes it so universally not dated ever. Like this is never going to be a dated movie. I don't think it will. I feel like it will hold true to the test of time and just how this is and how the movie was made and how it's animated. Everything about it, or not animated, how it is stop motioned. So I love that, and I love the score. The score I think is incredible. The first song, "This Is Halloween," is such a great opener, where you get to see where the world is of Halloween Town and how creepy it is and how scary it is. And then you realize that that's what they do, because it's in Halloween Town. It's supposed to be scary. And they even say in the lyrics, like, we're not mean, we just do this in Halloween Town. Like, they're not trying to be mean to anybody else. That's just what everybody does. They like to scare each other. So I really like that. And that line works whenever kids watch this, because I feel like kids are scared of this movie like I was whenever I was a kid. But that line where they're like, but we're not mean in this town of Halloween, like they're describing that they're not really horrible. They're just scaring people because they do that in the world. In this world, they're there to scare people. That's how they have fun. So I really did love the first song. And every song is incredible, but the first song is so great. And then Jack's Lament, where it has the famous picture of him walking down the spiral hill, like obviously what the picture artwork is, where he's walking down the spiral hill and he sings the song, is incredible because it just completely shows how Jack feels in this situation of longing for more, longing for something else, while Sally watches and says, like, Jack, I know how you feel. And that only that one line makes perfect sense to how they become in a relationship at the end of the movie. Like, it's just so simplistic, but it works so well. I love that. And then whenever Jack gets to Halloween Town, the song What's This plays, and it's really great too, where it's so lively and so fast-paced and so happy, where Jack has finally found a longing for something, and then he like doesn't understand it still. Like, he's looking around like, what's going on? Like, they kiss, that seems unique. Or like you see like they're throwing snowballs instead of throwing heads. Like all these lines where he's describing in the song, he figures out like, this is not the same as where I am, but this is cool. This is something new. This is something I long for. And I just love how they portray that in that song. It's such a great song. And then there's other ones that are good, like the Town Meeting song, or Something's Up with Jack. Like, those are good songs, but they're totally great, but they just don't have as much of like an impact. They're good though. They're really good. And Kidnap the Santa Claus is really good, where like the kids, Lock, Shock, and Barrel, are like talking about how to kill Santa Claus, which is really creepy, but I like that. And then Oogie Boogie has a song towards the end where you realize what the build-up of in Kidnap a Santa Claus. Like, you don't see Oogie Boogie, but they keep talking about him and showing this bug going down and getting eaten by him. And then when Oogie Boogie has a song with Santa Claus, that's a great song, and it's such a jazzy song. It's so fun. It shows how great the villain is too, because Oogie Boogie is this silly but threatening villain, and I like how they portray him in this. He's very good. And then like the song that Sally has, like Sally's song, that's good too, because it kind of just builds on Sally's character and how she feels in the moment. And I like that song a lot as well. And then at the end, after Jack gets shot down, the song "What Have I Done?" like that's a perfect emotional moment for whenever Jack realizes what he has done wrong and why and what he longs for, and then he wants to go back to being the Pumpkin King. Like he wants to go back and he can set things right. And I think that that's just a great song as well. So I love that. And then at the end, we got a couple reprisal mixed kind of songs where like the last couple, like the last minute of the movie is where it's kind of a "This Is Halloween," kind of "What's This" mix, which is great. And then whenever they have the reprise of Sally's song where Jack goes up to her after everything's covered in snow after Santa saved the day, she's up on the spiral hill and he comes and starts singing to her, and it's like Sally's song, but they sing it together and in unison, and it really works in that moment. It's just really effective and really great. I love that moment in the movie. That song is just so great. And all the music, all those songs that is mentioned are incredible. Really, really great. Like they all stand up, and still, no matter what, I love. And I think this is one of the best musicals I've ever seen. And I think this is just one of the most fun, most beautiful movies I've ever seen, and I love everything about it. I love these characters, I love the art style, I love the designs, I love the stop motion, I love the emotion towards it, I love the music. Everything about this movie is just incredible, and I've been obsessed with it since I first saw it, and I love it and will still love it till the end of time, or until I die. But I love this movie. I think it's just such an incredible, timeless movie. And it's such a great one, and I'm so glad I finally got to talk about it. I will talk about the other Disney movies too, but this is just one that I'm going to talk about now since it's October. And since it's Halloween Day, so thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me down below what you think of Nightmare Before Christmas. Tell me what you think. Do you love it as much as I do? Comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Thanks guys so much for watching.